January in the desert. It can only be the Dakar. The preparation, the testing, the waiting, all done. Now, the rally.
I'm so happy to be here, for this race, because otherwise maybe no Dakar, and it's nice to open. I don't have any fear, anything,
Reigning champion Carlos Sainz left the line in determined style as he started his defence and potentially win number 4. The gauntlet was dropped. Yazid Al-Raji punctured just 25 kilometres into the stage, then he got stuck in the dust of others before fighting hard to get through, only to get another 2 punctures, meaning that he had to drive very carefully to the finish. All smiles, but he's now got to knuckle down. Sebastian Loeb had a baptism of fire though, as he lost time also with 3 punctures, meaning he had to be ultra careful again not to get a 4th. The car was good, solid and reliable, which for something that hadn't even seen the sand 2 months ago was a blessing in disguise. Nasser Al-Attiyah lost 12 minutes today with a puncture and then took it really quite gently. Gunning for a Dakar victory in an Olympic year, the Qatari has got to balance it out. 1 stage down, 11 to go. Janil de Villiers was blocked trying to overtake so many people, even though it was a 3-minute gap between each car. But then he punctured. Then Sainz snuck through, and then de Villiers had another 2 punctures. He had to baby it to the line, and 7th. Sheikh Khalid Al-Qasimi is a former Middle Eastern rally champion, so knows these conditions like the back of his hand. Driving the Peugeot 2008 that took a hat-trick of Dakar victories, he was a brilliant 6th today. Yassir Saidan hasn't had much seat time in the Century buggy car. He drove Hail Rally a few weeks before the Dakar, but flew today to Bisha to be the leading Saudi right from the word go. A complicated day for Mathieu Serradori. He lost his pace but pushed hard and it paid off. He was very thankful to Fabien Lercan, his co-driver, to get him back on track. It was a great start. Somewhat hamstrung last year by a series of accidents in the build-up to the Dakar, Martin Prokop is looking to better his 6th place from 2019. The Ford has certainly started with a bang, especially as he's in a 1-car team this year.
It's very difficult for navigation, a lot of mistakes you can see, and the stones were, it was really, really difficult. But the car was great. I was really confident with the car.
Stefan Pederhansel found it harder than even he expected. If it was complicated for Mr. Dakar, well, he had a rear puncture about 40 kilometres before the finish and had to change it just to be safe.
We were in a lot of vegetation in Rios with little trees. We knew that the bodywork of the car would suffer. If you want to clock a good time, well, you need to push the car.
Come the finish, there were 5 rear-wheel drive buggies in the top 6. That was the order of the day. But the fastest driver was the reigning Carlos Sainz just pipped Pederhansel by a mere 25 seconds, but having started so far back off the line, it was a huge effort.
Of course, you always like no puncture, no navigation problems, but at the end of the day, important is, to do 1 stage and leading the race. It's important.
Sainz won the stage by 25 seconds from his teammates. The only 4x4 in the top 5 on the day was the Czech man Prokop. Therefore, overall, well, it's where we left off in 2020. Sainz leads from Pederhansel, just 8 seconds in it. After capturing the best time in the 11-kilometre prologue yesterday, it was a tough first real Dakar day for Chris Meek. The former WRC driver lost over an hour, putting him right on the back foot, right from the word go. Mr. Bikes of years past, Checo Lopez was fourth, only 2 minutes back of the winner with his Can-Am. There's not much that Austin Jones doesn't know about off-road driving after his dad's legendary status on the Baja. The young American solidly establishing himself into the top 3 today with his Can-Am. Brazilian Ronaldo Varela is in his 20th anniversary drive on the Dakar. The veteran was a brilliant second, a true desert fox today. She was a late entry for the Red Bull off-road team, but what a performance it was for Cristina Gutierrez. She becomes the first woman to win a Dakar stage since Jutta Kleinschmidt. She's shown them what to do and leads the lightweight vehicles overall. Gutierrez at the top of the table on the stage from Varela, Jones, Lopez and Fares. And therefore, overall, it's the Brazilian who leads from the American, from the Chilean, the Spaniard and the Russian Karyakin.
I'm more of the wild child. I like to be a kid still.
Well, he's always been a character. He's always setting the bar real high for himself.
I'm honestly not too sure what the world thinks about me yet. I haven't been around it much, so definitely ready to put my name out in the rally industry and do some more of it.
I'm beyond proud. I think proud is an understatement.
Action. Well, I grew up running dirt bikes, and I think that's where my love for off-road racing really came from. And it's kind of been in the blood just from going to the desert with my family and hanging out and driving.
You're on TV now. I wanted him to always stay focused in school. I was number 1 and racing came second, and somehow he did great in both, which was, you know, very proud of him in that. He always sets his goals very high.
Been with the OT3 team, Red Bull Off-Road Junior team a long time, for the past year and a half or so, but unfortunately I couldn't race Dakar because I was 17. I was definitely a little bit bummed out just because, you know, I've been working so hard to get to the point where I am. Yeah, I cleaned it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, look how shiny it is.
Can you climb inside?
No, I'm actually retired, so I'm on break. If I had to describe myself in one word, I think it would just be goofy. Obviously I like to stay professional when it comes down to it, but when it's time to have fun with my friends, I definitely like to have fun. I like to mess around with people and play some jokes, but yeah. So I think my role in this team, not only as driver, but I think it's just to make people happy. So racing the car would definitely be a dream for me. I want to be the youngest American to ever win it. It's definitely going to be a challenge trying to back down the pace a little bit and just try to stay consistent and smooth. You know, I'm 18 years old and I'm ready to go fast and drive as hard as I can all the time.
Oh man, if I can tell him one thing, it's stay focused. Stay focused. Just be Seth. Just be Seth.
A new star is born. The Dakar Classic took off this morning for its first ever stage. A great opportunity to see some of the legendary vehicles of the 80s and 90s. And all eyes were, of course, on the beautiful Porsche 911, a model that René Medge took to victory back in '84. Also on the entry list are the Sunhill buggies and the iconic Peugeot 504 pickup. A little under 20 years ago, Jutta Kleinschmidt was all smiles on the shores of the Lac Rose in Dakar, becoming the first and only woman to win the rally. At the time, she was driving a Mitsubishi Pajero. Well, 2 decades later, the German was still present at scrutineering in Jeddah, not as a competitor or VIP guest, but as the head of the FIA Rally Raid Commission, an all-important role for the former champion. Present during scrutineering in Jeddah, His Royal Highness Prince Khaled was delighted to welcome the Dakar competitors for the second consecutive year. The chairman of the Saudi Automobile and Motorcycle Federation was relieved to see the Dakar take off.
I wasn't expecting to see this much of drivers, especially with all the the problems, the issues for people to travel, economy. It's been a tough year. It's going to be an interesting race, nice routes. I'm sure it's going to be more thrilling than last year.
Onto the trucks, where Anton Shibalov made a good start. Last year's runner-up leading over the first 100 kilometres and third on the day for Kamaz. Alexei Vishnusky set the pace for Maz early on, but his team leader Serhij Vyazovic stormed through the final part of the stage to come fourth. Martin Matchik also up there, the Czech driver a couple of minutes behind Vyazovic, taking fifth for the Big Shock Racing team. Well, Ales Lowprice did even better in his Praha, second place. The nephew of the great Karel Lowprice has a backup truck this year driven by Jan Tomanek, and he's definitely one to watch. Jaroslav Walter and Martin Soltis making it 4 Czechs in the top 10. Gerd Hussing was cruising along nicely in his hybrid Renault, but the Dutchman lost around half an hour on the final run-in. And disaster for the title holder Andrei Karganov, who stopped several times to repair his Kamaz, all but ending his chances of going back-to-back. But the Russian Armada are all about strength in depth. They have 4 crews after all, and it was Dmitry Sotnikov who secured the stage win.
Next up, stage 2, and not just 457 kilometres of stage to attack, but the first big dunes of the Dakar 2021.